What is going on, guys? Winner Kills here. Welcome back to another post-commentary duel video. In this match, we have Pendulum Magicians versus True Draco Invoked. With the spellbook engine you see there, the blue boy coming down, I think grabbing secrets and then grabbing spellbook of knowledge, or whatever the new spellbook is, and then diagram coming down as well, using Ignis Heat to tribute away that trap card and get a draw off Heritage. This ended up being a long match, hence why the speed is up, but a lot of you guys don't seem to complain about the high speed of the video sometimes, because it's actually a little bit more bearable to watch than sitting down to watch a 50-minute match. And I know not everybody has time to sit down and watch a 50-minute Yu-Gi-Oh video. But it's better, you know, the whole commentary thing, and I know you guys like it, and I don't even know why I'm reiterating on the subject. I thought I'd just bring it up since it's a 17-minute video sped up almost 300%. So yeah, we're gonna have Pendulum Call come down. Looks like he's gonna grab Harmonizing Magician and Wisdom Eye Magician. Almost forgot his name there for a second. Looks like he ended up discarding Secret Village of the Spellcaster. I think that's a personal tech of his. I don't think it's too mainstream. Activating Sky Iris, of course, one of the staple field spells for Pendulum Magicians. I'm gonna pop that. I think it's like Black Fang Magician or Purple Poison. Gonna get rid of Diagram, clear that off the board, as that'll be a problem later on. Penduluming for 2, 1 from extra deck, and looks like 2 from his hand. As you see, 1 will go to his extra monster zone. And that Code of the Duelist playmat, of course, featuring the new link zones. And Max C dropped. I think it's probably a good time to drop it, if any, because if he does want to go into the extra deck any further, he'll get a free draw off that. And it looks like he's going to. Maybe feels that it's worth it at this point to go into a synchro for Beals, the Diabolic Dragon, swinging over Ignis Heat. Beals is a pretty tough card for True Dracos to deal with. Very, very hard, might I add. Masterpiece, I think, has a very hard time dealing with it. Cannot beat over it. Even if it does, I think Beals would end up gaining the attack difference anyways. I think the battle damage you take from an attack involving Beals, it ends up gaining that attack anyways. Can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, and I think the only way it can be removed from the field is if it is banished. That True Draco Disciples of the Draco Phoenix being activated to shuffle in 3. That Meltdown getting replaced by Dragonic Diagram, and Disciples of the True Draco Phoenix will be popped by Dragonic Diagram, adding that Draco Phoenix to his hand, clearing the Sky Iris off the board. And Alistair's going to come down now. He's going to search off that. We could possibly see an Invocation, but he's going to use Heritage first, activate another Disciples, attempt to activate this effect again, or perhaps not, using it as tribute fodder for a Masterpiece, tributing a blue boy and a spell, or maybe that was Alistair. It's unaffected by monsters and spells, and we'll see an Invoked Ragin come down, ditching that Draco Phoenix in his hand. And he is going to attempt to book, but I think his Pendulum monster on the far left, top left of the screen, is going to actually be able to end up negating the effect of an extra deck monster, so he's just going to go battle phase anyways. I think that a Purple Poison Magician ends up being able to clear away his Diagram. He'll pass it back over to the Magician player. See what he can do in response to that Masterpiece and that Ragin. I don't know if Ragin will have a say in what Beals does, because I don't think Ragin can affect Beals currently. But that Masterpiece could very well disrupt the Pendulum player's plays. So he does have the opportunity to use its effect to, of course, banish a True Draco. Not even a True Draco, I think it's just continuous spell or trap from his graveyard to destroy a card on his opponent's side of the field. The Pendulum summon from hand will go through as his extra deck zone is taken up by Beals. Oath Dragon will destroy that Black Fang Magician. I believe that's Oath Dragon doing that. And he'll search, I think, Time Pendulum Graph. A very good trap card. Kind of stuck at the moment, though. No Link Monster in his extra deck zone, kind of stopping him from doing anything else. See a Wisdom Eye Magician come down, I think that's Black Fang Magician, the other one is Purple Poison. Black Fang destroying itself, I believe, for its effect. And Raijin will have a say on what Beals' his new battle position would look like. Okay, I was unsure whether or not Beals would be able to be affected by Raijin, but he will be able to book it face down. Doesn't matter, he'll flip it back up and pass. That Beals still proving to be a problem for Masterpiece, but Alistair's going to come down, see if he can help. Could possibly go into another Raijin here and end up booking the Beals, so perhaps the Masterpiece could destroy it. If it's destroyed face down, it might be able to get rid of it. I'm not sure what the mechanic is involving that. Dragonic Diagram coming down can get some things rolling here. Could possibly destroy a card in hand. Yep, it's going to go for the Terraforming. Figure he probably doesn't need that at this point. I think he's down maybe 2 or 3 diagrams already in a Magical Meltdown. Adding Ignis Heat, perhaps. Ignis Heat, maybe not the choice. Still going to go with Ignis Heat, though. And then he'll tribute it away, that true Draco Disciples. And then he's going to activate Invocation for another Raijin. And then activate Invocation's effect to return itself to the deck and add that banished Alistair to his hand. And then he will clear the Beals, of course, by using the Raijin and then popping it while it's face down. He's going to enter battle phase here, attack into the Harmonizing Magician over the double Iris Magician, triggering double Iris Magician's effect to search that, I think that Star Pendulum Graph, and then swing in directly with Masterpiece and search that Heritage, and then get a draw off of it for the one true Draco card that was tributed that turn. We'll see the Ignis Heat getting the search of a spell. Skullcrabat Joker coming down. What a draw. Card very, very powerful in this matchup, of course, being able to search pretty much anything. Wisdom Eye coming down. And I think he gets to search off that Pendulum Graph as well when something is destroyed. Getting all the hand advantage. Now, when we're talking about hand advantage, there's something that this Pendulum deck does very well. And that Ghost Ogre, very clutch Ghost Ogre, actually ending the game for him right there. Very clutch. Ghost Ogre coming in way too clutch there. Stopping him from being able to Pendulum summon that turn, I believe, based on what scales he had available in hand. Stopping him from getting that search off that Pendulum Graph. Very, very rough. And he does end up scooping there. Probably due to a lack of advantage at that point. Maybe it's better off to go into game 2 where he will opt to go first. Starting off somewhat similar like we did in game 1. Activating that Pendulum Call. And then we'll see a double Pendulum summon from hand of double Iris and Harmonized Magician going into Purple Poison into, I think, Star or Time Star Magician. That will get Ghost Ogred. That is going to mess up his setup a little bit. Skullcrabat Joker coming in for a bit of a recovery. Grabbing another Wisdom Eye. That Ghost Ogre proving to be still, at this point, a very, very powerful card in the meta. Especially with that Alti reprint coming up. Might want to get your hands on those as soon as possible. We're going to go into an Xyz, though. Broad Bowl coming down. Zodiac Broad Bowl coming down to search a Beast Warrior. Gonna add the Minotaurus into Chakanine. And then into Broad Bowl again. Setting up some sort of shenanigans here. Not gonna go for a Leica play for Mrs. Radiant just yet. And then we'll see Alistair come down. It will get destroyed but he still has a target for his Spellbook of Knowledge, I believe, to discard a spellcaster and draw 2, or he has the opportunity to discard a spellbook if he wanted to. Still popping off here with the Dragonic Diagram. He does have to worry about the Trident. Actually, no, I believe he already used his Trident this turn. A second diagram coming down, clearing the Trident with that Destroy True Draco Apocalypse. Heritage on the board to be able to net some advantage off that later, if he can get something tributed for. So I don't think he'd be able to get draws of the cards he destroyed with the 2 diagrams that he's played. A strong turn. He will get to draw 2 off that. So very, very clutch. Very, very consistent opening. Now is the time where I think he's definitely going to want to capitalize. Going into Mechaba. Believe he banished maybe a Blue Boy. Or no, the Ghost Ogre will get banished. Not Blue Boy. Blue Boy is a water. Believe it or not. Going into Mechaba, that will be able to prove helpful, I think, in the next coming turn to be able to ditch any spells to negate anything. I think that's going to be most helpful because I do believe he has access to, at least in this build, search a lot of spells. Reviving that Time Star Magician, Astrograph Sorcerer, getting activated, but then will be banished due to Mechaba, discarding that True Draco Phoenix. Now the Mechaba negation is turned off. It's already been used on the Astrograph Sorcerer. Double Iris activating for a, I think that's Star Pendulum Graph. Another Wisdom Eye coming down, cycling through a lot of Pendulum cards, trying to get some advantage into his hand. Because at this point, with that used Mechaba, he could pull off something pretty devastating here. Depending on what hand traps he might have, he might be able to dodge some of his opponent's Pendulum plays. But it doesn't look like he has any Ghost Ogres, because I believe at this point he probably would have used them. Black Fang Magician activating. Revive Double Iris. And then playing the Minotaurus in the scale. And then he will Pendulum Summon for Harmonizing Magician and Purple Poison Magician. And one from the extra deck, the Double Iris. He might actually be able to pull off a Zark play, which would prove absolutely devastating. Black Fang Magician going into another Time Star. Time Star detaching to activate his effect, I think to get him a search. But we might very well see a Zark come into play. Astrograph Sorcerer added to his hand. And it looks like he is going into Zark. Ladies and gentlemen, Zark hits the board. Blows up everything. Of course, his Heritage will activate, destroying his Star or Time or Star Pendulum Graph. But it does not matter because he will have plenty of damage to swing in. Not enough resources generated by the True Draco player. And then we have Terraforming activated and Spellbook of Secrets. Blue Boy hitting the board. I'm assuming getting a search of that Spellbook of Knowledge. Knowledge activating, tributing that Blue Boy, drawing 2 cards. And of course into Dragonic Diagram. Destroying the Heritage after he sets it face down. And then searching a True Draco Apocalypse. Another Dragonic Diagram, destroying the True Draco Apocalypse. Adding another Heritage, cycling through some of his cards. Trying to get some bonus draws. 4 cards drawn this turn, thanks to True Draco Heritage and the Spellbook Engine. Ignis Heat coming down, and 2 set back row. See, that is one thing about this deck, is I think it does have the power to draw, but I think a lot of the advantage can sometimes be fake advantage. But that D barrier is definitely not fake. Shutting off his entire turn, possibly. Assuming he calls Pendulum, that black, or that Purple Poison Magician will be activating the Ignis Heat's ability. Purple Poison tributing itself for its effect. And removing the diagram. And I believe removing the Ignis Heat, because it did get run over by the added attack points onto the Joker. And then revival of the True King, bringing back the Ignis Heat, I believe, in the end phase. or perhaps during his turn, doesn't matter, tributing the Ignis Heat for another Ignis Heat. Does look like that did happen in the end phase, because I think he just tributed during his opponent's turn, which is an effect that you can use. Then a Disciple of the True Draco Phoenix being activated. Pretty much a Daigusto Emerald, getting a free draw off that, swinging over that Skullcrabat Joker. That D-Barrier proving very strong on turn 1. What will the Pendulum player have to say in response to the double Ignis Heat? One Ignis Heat will only be able to get its effect, I think, because it was the one that was actually tribute summoned. The other one, of course, was revived from the graveyard. He might be able to tribute, though, during his opponent's turn. I'm not sure if True Draco Revival allows that. I think that's True Draco Apocalypse that allows for the tribute during your opponent's turn. I could be wrong. I'm not too familiar with the deck. Double Iris and Oath Dragon. I think Oath Dragon returning that Black Fang. I believe he might have normal summoned the Black Fang Magician. Oath Dragon's effect, I think, activating now. Looks like a Droll Bird, though, was played. And I do want to make a disclaimer. A slight error in play was made. As you see, the Droll Bird was played, and then the Maxi played as well. He does draw off the Maxi, which technically he should not be able to, because neither player can add or draw cards to their hand once, of course, Droll Bird is activated. So these draws should not be happening. And later, a turn too late, actually, this is realized. And the True Draco player does end up folding because of this mishap. Of course, realizing it right now. And I think had he realized this mishap, of course, who really knows how it could have went. I think the Pendulum player was in a actually pretty good spot as opposed to the True Draco player. But yeah, I still wanted to get this video up because I still think it was a great match. Besides the mishap there at the end, these things happen. Of course, everybody is human. And did realize perhaps a turn too late. They could have kept playing it. He returned some of the cards, but he just decided to end it right there. Anyways, either way, regardless, I hope you guys still enjoyed. And if you did, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment. Like I said, this video was sped up quite a bit, so if I didn't miss something, please forgive me. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video as a whole, and leave a like if you did, and as always, want to kill us. Signing out. We'll see ya in the next one.